This is the Toby LaGrange Show. With who else? Toby LaGrange. And it starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode number 49 of the Toby LaGrange Show. This episode entitled Bobby Allison, Winning Races and Making Headlines. As a young boy growing up on Bleecker Mountain, up in the northern part of Fulton County on the Canoblo family homestead, I was a typical dirt-loving outdoors kid. We did not have satellite television, and we had very little channels, 3 channels back in the 80s up there on the mountain because cable didn't go that far. One thing that was always on, whenever it was on, was the NASCAR race. Well, local racing was king with me. Watching the NASCAR races on those few Sundays that was being broadcast was a priority. I say each time because, like I said, only 3 channels, and they didn't always play the NASCAR race. I grew up a fan of 2 drivers, each of whom left an impression on me during those early years in the 1980s. First, that man they called Jaws, DW, Darrell Waltrip. As a smart-mouthed kid, his tendency to say what was on his mind really made me a fan and left an impression on me. Some of you are probably saying, yeah, no kidding. The second was a driver whose talent, good-looking race cars, and persona drew me in. Oh, and as a kid who didn't miss a race at the Fonda Speedway for more than 3 decades, watching him twist around the banks of the Mohawk River really left an impression on me. Unfortunately, we lost that second driver, Bobby Allison, on November the 9th. He passed away at the age of 86 years old, and he did something that no parent should ever have to do. Buried not 1, but 2 of his children. Born in Miami, Florida in 1937, Allison started driving around and racing around the tracks in southern Florida. Him and his brother Donnie tore up those racetracks until moving to Hueytown, Alabama, a place he would eventually make famous. Allison was a very versatile driver who could win and did win almost everywhere he went, and when he didn't win, he was always up front. Bobby was the 1960 NASCAR National Modified Rookie of the Year and the division's champion in 1964 or 1965. The first Winston Cup Series win for Bobby Allison came in 1966 at All Places, the Oxford Plains Speedway in Maine, as he won the Maine 100. In the 1970s, he started to hit it big on the national scene. In 1971, he won his first major event, the World 600, an event that he would win 2 more times, 1981 and 1984. He also won the Southern 500 at the Darlington Raceway, an event he would win 3 more times, 1972, 1975, and 1983. In 1978, Allison brought home probably his biggest win ever, the Daytona 500, a feat he would repeat 2 more times, 1982 and 1988. The 1988 win, of course, was that famed 1-2 finish with his late son, Davey Allison. It would also be his last NASCAR Winston Cup Series victory. He started off the 1980s by winning the IROC title. That's the International Race of Champions. And for those of you who are too young to remember what the IROC Series was, the International Race of Champions was a series of identically prepared race cars with drivers from all sorts of backgrounds in motorsports. You had sprint car drivers, NASCAR drivers, IndyCar drivers, sports car drivers. You had them all competing against each other. In 1982, he won the Busch Clash, and in 1983, he picked up his only NASCAR Winston Cup championship. When all was said and done, Allison won 85 NASCAR Winston Cup Series events and earned 59 pole positions. He won races with 12, count them, 12 different car owners, including himself as owner-driver in that beautiful Miller High Life number 12. He also drove for 8 different manufacturers. Yes, I said 8. Remember, though, this was back in the real NASCAR days. Bobby Allison was voted the NASCAR Winston Cup Series most popular driver a total of 7 times, from 1971 to 1973 and 1980 to 1983. The leader of the Alabama gang was inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America in 1992, the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1993, and then the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2011. Bobby Allison was not just another race car driver. He was one of the best on and off the track. He won races and made headlines, and turned mountain boys like me into fans along the way. Godspeed, Bobby Allison. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Toby LaGrange Show. Remember to like and share this episode all over social media. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the LaGrange Media Productions channel. This has been a production of LaGrange Media Productions.